Hey guys, my name is Chantel. Welcome back to my channel and thanks for hanging out with me today. So, today we're going to talk about episode 4 of Idolish7, which, reminder, is the last episode until it comes back from its postponement. You guys know how my videos work, and if you're new here, basically how I do these videos is just I talk about the episode, tell you guys what I thought about it as I do my makeup, and just, you know, I hope you guys enjoy hearing my ramblings, and I'm just gonna go ahead and roll the rest of the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Alrighty, you guys, so where do I even begin regarding this week's episode of Idolish7? I guess first and foremost to remind you guys, just in case if you didn't see my last video, or if you guys still don't know, or, you know, for whatever reason, this is the final episode for now for season 2 of Idolish7 until things are a little bit better in the world. They haven't said when it will be back. It could be in the summer, or it could be in the fall. Heck, it could even be next year. We really don't know, so it just depends on how things are going in the world. So basically episode 4 starts off where we last left off, with Iori and Tsumugi talking about, you know, Iori being the new center. And Iori was basically praising Tsumugi and, like, you know, telling her that she was right and that he was glad that he was able to see things now rather than later. And he acknowledges, he's like, you know, if we kept it up the way that I wanted to, I would have just burned him to the ground before we could even make it out in the big world and stuff like that. After that discussion, he does, you know, like I said, praise Tsumugi for her efforts and how her stage direction was like really brilliant and how she has the talent for it. Like, it was a really sweet moment between Tsumugi and Iori, and I'm really glad that they had this little bit of time together like this. And, you know, after this they decide to go on and move forward, which goes into the next thing where they tell the group that Iori will indeed be the new center. And of course this shocks the group, especially Riku. He's a little bit taken aback and he's just like, wait, what? Well, like, hold on, what's going on? But he took it a lot better than I expected him to be. Like, I kind of thought Riku would put up more of a fight, but he didn't. He was just like, you know, I really understand where you guys are coming from. I do think this might be the best decision for us right now. And Iori, of course, reassures Riku, you know, I'm just here to warm up your spot while you go and take your time to recover. And once you're good and ready to go, your spot will be back for you. Which then later on we start to see the group a little bit worried. Like, they have their concerns and stuff with changing centers and stuff, and they're pretty worried for Riku as well. And they're all just kind of keeping quiet, so it won't affect Riku in the end. So they're trying not to worry him. Like, we have that moment between Iori and Tamaki where Tamaki is like, you know, hey, and he's about to say something and Iori's like, no, stop. He hasn't noticed it yet, so it's best to be quiet right now. So he's like, all right. And yeah, so everyone, you know, they're a little bit concerned because they don't know how this is gonna go. They're in unknown territory, so they just can only see and wait and see how this goes, basically. Which then after this, it kind of leads into their first performance with Iori as a center. And oh my gosh, let me tell you, I really loved this part so much. And Perfection gimmick was really good, but I could be totally biased because, like, you know, Iori was a center and stuff like that, but it definitely gave Iori time to shine. And man, it was really good. And I know a lot of people pointed out on Twitter that I think they used the choreography for the I Nana live. So yeah, that's what I was seeing over on Twitter from the very few people out there. So that was actually really interesting to know, that little tidbit. And I was like, oh, like, all right, that's pretty cool, you know? And during this performance, they do mention, like, things with Iori. Like, the group members start saying, you know, man, like, he's easy to work with, you know, he knows what he wants to do, and like, he sees it like very clearly how this is all gonna work out. And like, just kind of giving like little tidbits here and there, and they're just like, man, this is like really fun. Like, we had like our worries, but like everything's going really smoothly. And when Tsumugi's watching from like the back, she hears some people talking. They're like, man, I was a little bit worried about the new center, but you know, he makes things like really balanced. And I was just like, yes, everyone's accepting my boy like as the center right now. They're accepting the new Idolish7, which is like, I think the new episode was titled New Form, which is, you know, it's the new form of Idolish7. And they were talking about Iori, they were talking about the performance and other things regarding Idolish7. So there was like a lot of buzz surrounding that after the performance with the new center as Iori. And because of this, it ends up leading up to Mezzo having a new song in their hands. But before they get their new song, Tsumugi and her dad basically kind of talk it out, and they're like, you know, I really want them to release this new single. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's like perfect right now, because you know the fans have been asking for a new single for quite a while. And I was like, yeah, I was wondering if they were gonna get any songs soon. And sure enough, they are. But he did have some worries about Tamaki. And the only reason why this comes up is just because Bandri does mention, they're like, oh, they're supposed to be like in this, I believe it was like a drama that they were supposed to star in. Tsumugi ends up saying, you know, oh, that might be like taken back just because of what happened last time with Tamaki. And I'm like, oh, like we're going back to that time where the whole disaster with that show and his dad, and oh geez. So that's coming right back to bite him in the butt. So I was like, great. But it's to be expected, and they were just saying, you know, hey, the person that's in charge of this, he takes manners into consideration, like, and basically he takes them into high regard. And because of that, you know, Tamaki is being questioned. But of course Tsumugi is like, you know, I'm gonna do my best and fight for them, that I want Tamaki to also be included, but we'll see what happens. And of course this is what leads the president, which is Tsumugi's dad, to say, you know, we really need to work on Tamaki and his awareness, because things can't keep going on like this. This is also like a good opportunity for Mezzo to be reborn, and just, you know, take this as an opportunity and let's try to clear this misunderstanding, which again, that was Tsumugi's idea, to also clear the misunderstandings. So yeah, that's where they're at, and that's when we cut into Mezzo for a little bit, and things with Sogo's family again show up in this episode, and I'm like, So we learn that Trigger is also getting a show, and guess who's sponsoring them? Sogo's father. And the reason why they get to know about this is because I'm assuming that I don't think it was Sogo's dad, but it was somebody representing, you know, Sogo's dad's company for the whole sponsorship with the show that Trigger's gonna have. And they're able to hear the whole conversation. They're like, oh, we don't have to worry about our competitors for, you know, basically they mentioned Idolish7's new variety show. And yeah, it was just like, are you kidding me? Like, are you really doing this right now? Like, poor Sogo really can't catch a break, and I really do feel bad for him, and he feels bad because he's like, well, crap, like, my dad really is out here trying to mess with our opportunities in some way or form. But of course, you know, the members of Idolish7 and Tsumugi reassure him not to worry, that they had planned everything and, you know, thought of everything that could happen. So like they were prepared, and they're like, it's okay, the Trigger show is not gonna happen until like after ours is done, so we're good, don't worry about it. And I guess before I close out on Sogo, there is like one more thing that they mentioned, and that was when Rivale ends up showing up in their, like, I think dressing room, and Momo I think it was Momo, or was it Yuki? It was one of them. They were like, hey, when are you guys gonna like invite us to your show? And Mitsuki's like, we really can't afford that right now, so. And that's when they're like, well, Trigger invited us, and they're like, oh. Like, things got a little bit awkward, and it's like, well, it's because they have a big sponsor. And I'm like, did y'all have to like rub salt on the wound right now? Like, Sogo knows what's happening behind the scenes, and like, oh my gosh. Well, not that he knows exactly what's happening behind the scenes, but you know, after that time that he overheard those people talking, you know, he's just like, well, shit. Which, since we're already talking about Rivale too, let's just go ahead and talk about the moment between Yamato and Yuki. So Yamato basically has like this conversation with Yuki. He basically almost kind of told Idolish7 Yamato's dirty secrets. I honestly don't think that he would have like obviously told Idolish7. He was just trying to mess with him just to corner him and get him to talk to him, because he like basically Yamato was like, no, I'm not talking to you, end of discussion. And he's just like, well, alright then, I guess I have to, you know, tell your little friends why you don't want to do this movie with me. Which, oh yeah, I haven't mentioned, right? Yamato also got like a huge role in the movie with Yuki, but obviously, you know, he's like, no. He's like, I'm not doing it, just like decline right away. Which again leads to Yuki talking to Yamato, and their conversation, my god, I was not expecting it to be so intense, and we were able to find out a little bit more about what Yamato's secret is. I do talk about it in our podcast, like what I think, like my theory as an anime only, what his secret could be, which you guys are gonna have to wait until that podcast episode is up. It will probably be up by the end of this week. Anyways, that was really interesting because it basically seems like they're talking about his dad, and it definitely looks like Yamato, like he doesn't want anything to do with him or Yuki. And Yuki does mention, he's like, you know, I'm just doing this because I want to pay back my senpai who has like guided me and done so much for me. And he's just like, well, that's fine and dandy, but that has nothing to do with me. And Yuki's like, no, this has everything to do with you, because, you know, we're gonna be working in this industry together. So, you know, you're still gonna be tied to me. You can not be tied to him, but like, we're still gonna be like, you know, tied to each other in some shape or way or form, whether you like it or not. And that's when Yuki is like, well, you know, he misses you. I heard that you haven't been home and stuff. And he's just like, well, I really don't care. And basically Yamato was just like not having it. He was just like trying to cut this conversation as short and quick as possible as ever, and just kind of get over this, because he really just doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to talk to Yuki at all, but he's forced in this corner thanks to Yuki, and he's basically kind of pushing his buttons. And it gets to a point where Yamato, you know, ends up telling him, you know, yeah, like that he did do this at first, get into the idol industry because he wanted revenge. And it was interesting because Yuki's like, oh, like that's so like, ew. And I think this is the only and first time we ever hear Yamato, and he's just like, yeah, I know, but now things are different now. I want to do this and make these guys' dreams a reality. I want to work with them and, you know, make this happen. He basically just says, you know, this isn't about revenge no more. Like, I could care less about my past, my family issues, or whatever it is that's going on with his little secrecy there. And Yuki is basically just telling him, you know, you need to take these opportunities. If you really do care about your members, take these opportunities and rise to these challenges, because if you're just gonna be stubborn and stuck in the same spot, you're not gonna go anywhere. And then Yuki also did say, he's like, I could easily ruin you guys if I wanted to, but I'm not. And I'm like, please don't threaten my boy like that. I don't like this. Yeah, that's basically kind of like the gist of their conversation, but man, oh man, did we really find out like a lot from Yamato. And it's not like we didn't already. Like, there's always been clues in season 1, and now more so than ever they're starting to give us like more hints as things continue on. And I'm hoping the rest of the second season we get to explore more of that. I really do hope so, because I want to know more, you know, with that situation. I don't want Yamato to be dancing around and like hiding secrets anymore. I also want him to tell his members, because even Yuki thought it was really weird that he hasn't told his members yet. He's just like, what are you afraid of? And Nagi also says this, because right before this whole conversation with Yuki happens, Nagi tries to kind of not necessarily corner Yamato, but get him to open up a little bit. And this all happens when they announce basically that he has like this part with Yuki that they want him to start in. That's when Nagi is like, okay, take off your glasses. And he's just like, no. And that's when Nagi was like, you know, I don't pry into anybody's business because, you know, I don't want to push you to say anything or do anything that you don't want to share and like stuff like that. But Nagi made some really good points, because Yamato tried to like trick him. He's like, oh, let's go watch Kokona, and Nagi's just like, yay, let's go. Basically they're able to have like a little bit of alone time, and he's just like, dude, like what's really going on? He's like, I played along with your little thing right now, but what's really going on? Because Nagi, it looks like Nagi has his suspicions, like I said earlier, a few videos back, but he's not gonna push Yamato to say anything that he doesn't want to, and that's exactly what he said in this episode. He's just like, you know, why are you hiding? Like, what is this big secret of yours? And he's like, you know, we're your members. We're supposed to be like really close friends. Like, what's going on? Like, do you not trust us or what's going on? He's like, I really do hope at some point you tell us what's going on. Just let us in, please. And you can tell Yamato is like taking what Nagi said into thought, and he's just like, well, shit. You know, like just based on like his reaction to that, he was just like, well, you know, like I said, well, shit. At this point, I feel like everybody knows everyone's like dirty secrets and stuff like that. Everyone eventually opens up. Yamato is like the only one so far that hasn't really, and Nagi, because you know Nagi still has like a big mystery surrounding him, at least I feel like anyway. Don't know what else to say about Yamato. I just, like I said, hope he opens up to the boys. It's not like they're gonna say anything bad or anything. Like, I feel like the boys at this point have like so much trust in one another and have so much faith in one another that you know, I feel like Yamato should definitely trust them a little bit more. He just has like all these walls up for whatever reason, and I'm sure we'll find out later on. But yeah, I feel like he doesn't need to keep those walls up with his friends, his members. Anyway, moving on to the next thing that I do want to talk about, which is Mitsuki. So he also did get a little bit of time to shine, and I do like that he's just doing so much research and stuff with variety shows, and he's been getting a lot of requests for you know, to do these variety shows because he's doing so well with them, and he's just such a natural, and he just has like this energy about him that just, wow. Like, I really like how he was emceeing in the variety show, and it was just so entertaining to watch. It was pretty amazing, and I do like that people were saying, you know, like, man, I haven't seen anyone this good since Momo from Rivale, and I'm like, that's so sweet. And you can tell like he's just having so much fun with it, and he's enjoying every minute of it. But that's pretty much all I have to say regarding Mitsuki. And another character that I do want to talk about briefly is Momo. So Momo and Tsumugi do have a little bit of a moment together. He kind of talks to her and tells her to basically be careful with Idolish7 and to be ready for basically people's feelings, because he says, you know, for an idol, love can hurt the most because it comes in different ways. He goes on and says, you know, there's gonna be people that want the cool Riku or that want the cutesy Riku, and like he was just listing reasons, and I was like, man, he has a point. And he basically was saying, you know, you really can't please everybody, so you kind of have to be prepared for that and, you know, have them be ready for it. You know, he was just kind of giving advice and just letting her know what to expect. He's like, you know, with Idolish7 up on the rise, this is what's gonna happen now, and you just need to be ready and prepare for it. Which honestly, that could be applied to, you know, in real life. You know, whatever you're doing, whether it be with family, friends, or if you're doing something at your job, or like if you're doing YouTube or stuff like that, you really can't please everybody, you know? So I really felt where Momo was coming from, you know? So I was like, damn, man, like Momo's getting serious. But I do like that. Like Momo, like, yes, he might seem like this sweet goofy character that likes to joke around and play around, but like for me, as someone who doesn't really fully know Momo, this definitely showed me like the more serious type, where he is just so genuine and he cares about like everybody around him, whether he has known you for a while or not. Really, it just shows you that he's like super considerate and caring for the people around him, and I'm like, he's such a good boy, and I love him. And I guess like the last thing that I do want to discuss before I end off this video is the last few minutes of this episode with Tenn showing up at the, I think, what was it, the dorm house for Idolish7. I was like, oh no. So here's what I think is gonna happen. Even like I said, we're gonna have to wait a while until to see if this, what I think is gonna happen, is gonna happen. But if you guys read the story, you guys can, you know, let me know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. I don't know, like, it doesn't really matter to me because I did tell you guys I don't really mind spoilers at this point. Spoilers are kind of unavoidable. So yeah, whatever. So here's what I think is gonna happen. I think the reason that Tenn is there is basically just to make Riku feel bad for stepping down as the center, which honestly makes me really, really sad if that really is the reason that he's there. And if he's just there to lecture him about that and to tell him, you know, I told you I was right, you're not fit for this industry or something like that, or to tell him, you know, that he needs to stop it and he needs to stop using as his health as an excuse or something like that, I'm gonna lose my shit. Because Riku really does not need this. I don't know why Tenn keeps putting him down. Like, why would you beat your brother down when he's already down, like, enough? Like, just, like, I don't like it. I don't like that he continuously makes Riku feel bad. Like, this is your own brother. Like, have a little bit more sympathy, please. Like, for a little bit, cut him some slack. Just a little bit. Don't be so harsh. Like, I don't know. Like, like, I get it. This is the way that Tenn is, right? But at the same time, it's kind of like, would it kill you to please be a little bit softer with my little sweet baby boy, please? Like, I just don't want him to have another asthma attack because of this. I really, really don't want to see that. Ideally, what I would love to see happen is for Tenn to be like, hey, are you okay? I'm sorry for like causing your asthma attack last time. I really was out of line. Like, I'm really sorry for that. You don't need this kind of stress. And all I'm doing is like causing that stress or something like that, just to apologize and make up and be like, you know, let's start over. Let me be a good brother to you. Let me, you know, ease off on my harsh words or something. Like, that would be ideal. But knowing Tenn, at least from what I know based on season 1, I don't know if that's the direction that will go. I have a feeling it's gonna be more of him beating down the horse, which is Riku, and bringing him down and making him feel 10 times more worse than he already does. Like, personally, I want to know, why is Tenn like this towards Riku? Like, is it because that he's been with him for so long that this is just the way that he reacts, especially after being away for so long, that he just doesn't know how to connect with Riku anymore or approach him? Like, what's the deal? Which is another thing I actually want to bring back with regarding Momo, because he does say that he really admires Tenn and how there's moments where it seems like he's gonna want to break down and cry and stuff, but he is able to put himself together and put those feelings aside. And Momo mentions something among the lines that it seems like he was prepared for this for his whole life. He's been doing this like the whole time. Which, when Momo said that, was like, it's because of Riku. The reason why he's able to handle himself and pull himself together is because of Riku. Because he's had to step up as a kid for Riku's sake to make him happy and brighten up his days. That's what made me think of when Momo said that. But Tenn, man, Tenn is just such a complicated character, which does make him really interesting, and it really does pique my interest, honestly. Like, I really do want to know, like, what is his deal? Why is he acting this way towards Riku? Like, what are his reasons? I really genuinely want these two to be sweet, adorable brothers. Like, that's all I want out of them. I want Riku to have his sweet Tenny with him by his side. And then, like, that preview image or clip, whatever you want to call it, where it seems like, I'm gonna assume it's Riku's hands that are like this towards Tenn, but I don't know, and I don't know when I'll find out, but well, I'll find out when I find out, when season 2 comes back. So anyways, that pretty much wraps up all my thoughts regarding this week's episode of Idolish7. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my overall ramblings. I know it was a little bit all over the place. It's just, I had a lot to say about like a lot of things, clearly. But yeah, you guys, that's pretty much it for me with season 2 of Idolish7. I will be back when it's back to talking about it. We'll see when that happens, so I guess look forward to that in the future. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy out there. Take care of yourself, take the necessary precautions, and I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope your families are doing well in these hard times. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys will stick around with me as I figure out what I'm gonna do for the rest of the spring season regarding my channel. And yeah, so that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!